Welcome, guys, once again to another review and recap of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And today we're going to be reviewing the part one reunion for the season 16. Now, before we go ahead and talk about this reunion, like we always do every day, let's talk about how would you rate the episode?
Uh, I'm sorry. I would have to give it maybe a 3.4. Simply
Oh, wow.
because,
Why?
yeah, simply because, I knew we were gonna basically go over the same arguments, which it didn't have really a case for it. You know what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
was a few things that I did like,
Okay.
but there are a few things like, okay, this is like the same old, same old.
Mm,
What would you
okay.
rate it?
For me, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really very that much interested in the episode.
Okay.
I'm trying to even refresh my memory about what happened in the episode because I was watching football
Okay.
when the episode. I know I watched them. I watched football. I think my club was playing Chelsea. They were playing the final, so I watched the match and we won. So I was celebrating with friends that I literally forgot we celebrated till late at night because at that time when the episode is airing in my place is late at night, like 2 a.m. in the morning. So
Right.
we celebrated till about 3, 4. It was this morning. I kind of slept, I think around after 4 in the morning. I slept and I woke up by 6 a.m. I think when I woke up, I just like scrolled through my phone for a little bit. And when I woke up, I was like, I think I'm forgetting something
Oh
because I was preparing
wow.
to go out then. And I said, oh, today was the real how. Oh my God. I quickly then went and watched the episode.
Okay.
But I was like, thank God I didn't even waste my time watching it when it aired live because it wasn't really giving. Although, I'm not going to lie, although there were some moments I loved that happened, like you said, I loved some
Hmm.
very crucial moments that happened in the episode, which we're going to
Right.
talk about. So for me, I'm going to give the episode a. Okay, I'll also give it a 3/5. So
Okay.
no, sorry, I said 3/10. That's what I'm going to rate the episode.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and first talk about the first thing that caught my eye was when they talked the Andy told the ladies that Brit was not going to be there. And everybody was surprised. Shamea was like, oh, she was shocked because she wanted her to come over because Brit has said a lot of lies that she wanted to check her on it. And
Okay.
Kellie was also being like, oh, I wanted her to come because there were a lot of things that was being said. And I
Hmm.
wanted her to, for us to like talk about it. Did you feel like they really cared about her not coming, or the fact that um they were not able to, like, I think maybe they it's like they already prepared to gang up against her, and she kind of, her not showing spoiled that plan that they had for the gang up. That was how what I felt because the way immediately Andy did tell them that Brit was not coming. When they were like, oh, I wanted to check her, it was giving, oh, we plan to come and gang up against you. Unfortunately, you are not here, so yeah, there's nothing we can do. The gang up cannot happen.
Yeah, I kind of got that. I mean, nobody looked really unhappy. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think it would have ended up that way. Where it had been a total gang up. You know, and I don't know how I feel about Brit not coming yet, though. You know what I'm saying?
And the fact that Portia spoke to her a day before the reunion, and she just, the way, according to Portia, I always like to hear two piece. I like to hear from two mouths.
Right.
From Portia's point of view, she said she spoke to Brit and they chatted, and Brit told her that she was going to be there with her husband. And I'm like, why would you talk to somebody a day before and being like, oh, you're gonna be there, and in your mind that you're not gonna be there?
Right.
Especially, it's not like, although I do those kind of things too, because I don't want you to feel sad. I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna be there, but I know that I'm not gonna be there, but not for something as for a job, because that's your job,
Right.
you know, and you're doing the reunion. That's a different thing. You can do it if you're going for a party or something where you tell them, oh, I'm gonna be there, but at the end of the day, you're not gonna be there. But I don't feel like you telling people that you're going to be there in something as a reunion, and at the end of the day you did not even have that thought before of coming. For me, um Portia saying that she spoke to her earlier on and she said she was going to be coming, and at the end of the day she didn't come. That part really was like, I don't feel right with that part, because if you felt like you were not going to come, you could have just said to Portia there and there, she's not going to beat you, you're an adult,
Right.
right? So if you tell Portia, I'm not going to be there, it's all good. It's at the end of the day, you decide whether you want to quit your job or not. Nobody's going to beat you if you decide to quit your job. I've never heard of somebody saying that I want to quit my job and you get beaten up, except if you're a criminal. Yeah, but nobody would have beaten you up. Nobody would have complained. It's your choice. So why did she have to, like, that part for me rubbed me off the wrong way.
I'm really not sure the answer to that question. But I just wish, you know, Britt would have came, said her piece, and
Yeah,
said what was what, and you know, hey, maybe she might have had to get some of them right. I
I
just
guess.
wanted to see what the deal was.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna touch on this part of why I felt like Brit was not, as in Brit not being there, how it kind of looked somehow. But before we talk about it, we also had a scene where Portia talked about her finally shooting in her home. For me, like I said, at the end of the episode, in the last episode of the season, when they showed us Portia was in her home, I felt like that was an unnecessary scene. I was not interested in knowing whether Portia finally was able to stream in her house. I was not interested in that. And now for them to start talking about it in the reunion, I was like, dude, what is my business if she was finally being able to shoot in the house? But at one time I was like, maybe because I never really did like Simon and Portia's marriage. Um,
Right.
I was never a fan of that marriage in any shape or
Mm-hmm.
form. I love Portia, but
Right.
for that marriage to um Simon, I was not a fan of it.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't in any shape or form. So probably that's why in my own biasness, maybe anytime I hear anything about the divorce, I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't want to hear.
Right.
I'm not. I'm not
It,
interested.
my thing is, like, why didn't Portia keep her house? You remember Portia had a
Mm,
really nice house. Why didn't she keep her
yeah,
own house? She could have rented it out. It. I'm saying that because how hard it was for her to get a house.
yeah.
And what she went through with that first marriage. You know,
Mm,
I mean, she was like balling. She was doing good. Then she gets with Simon, and I, I would have just rented my house out.
mm.
But that's
Well,
neither here nor there.
then moving forward, Kelly and Portia got in a disagreement. I'm gonna say in that disagreement, I'm gonna say it that I sided with Kelly as much as I hated it. I sided with Kelly with that disagreement she has with Porsha, because Porsha trying to quantify her own divorce and marriage with the same thing as Kelly's did not make sense to me. And I love the fact that clearly Kelly clocked her and was like, my marriage and your marriage ain't the same. Boo,
Right.
they ain't the same. And the way Kelly was like, you're just married for 11 months. I was like,
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
yeah. So I needed to, because Portia be, and I don't like how Portia be behaving with this divorce, because if you did not know Portia and Simon from the first day, you'll be thinking this marriage was built on one solid rock, was built on, you know, a good foundation, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I loved that Kelly clocked her, because she needed to be clocked, because at the end of the day, you took this man from somewhere. He divorced somebody to be with you. Of course, it's gonna get to you too. And the
Yeah.
same thing you did to somebody else has been done to you. So you're trying to quantify it the same thing with Kelly that was with her husband for so many years. No, no. I love that Kelly. I hated the fact that I had to side with Kelly, but I loved that Kelly clocked her, because sometimes I'll be feeling like Portia needs to be clocked.
Hmm.
And another thing that was kind of surprising to me was hearing in between the argument between Kelly and Portia, to find out that probably it might be Shamea that introduced Simon. I was confused because I know that it was not Shamea. I don't know. I felt like it was this lady that introduced them to Simon, but I don't know the meaning of the introducing Simon to Portia that was mentioned. Is it that they met secretly? It was Shamea that linked them up secretly. I don't know. But if that is the kind of thing that happened, I feel like Shamea was wrong, because you don't see another woman's husband and try to link her up with another man, another woman. It's not done.
Right. I'm not sure if that is correct because
Hmm.
what I'm remembering is I'm remembering Portia being friends with Simon's wife being
Ex-wife.
introduced, their ex-wife being introduced, and she invited, I think, Portia, and I think it was Portia's sister. I don't remember seeing Shamea on that scene, but I
Even
think it was
when I
Portia's
heard it, I was
sister.
like, I never remember seeing Shamia, but we don't know what be going on the ground. That's what I just said.
Well, that's true.
Mm. Because at the end of the day, these ladies just make us see what they want us to see.
True.
What they don't want us to see, we would not see. So it's whatever they want us to see that we do see. But I still don't believe that Shamia introduced Portia to Simon, because this lady, the ex-wife, literally came to the group and introduced her and her husband to everybody. So I don't think that it was Shamia. Probably maybe Shamia encouraged her as a friend, maybe, but I don't think that Shamia introduced them. Also in this episode, we saw Portia get questioned about the thing she said about Angela's husband, the fact that she could literally, get Angela's husband. And I
Hmm.
love the valid question that was asked, that for somebody going through a divorce, all right, why
Hmm.
would you say that about somebody else's husband? It doesn't make any sense. Um But I love that she apologized at the end of the day, because that statement, for me, when she said that statement during the season, I was like, no, no, that does not make sense. But I love that she knew that, yes, that statement was wrong in any shape or form. It was really wrong. And she took accountability. Um, Yeah, that was a very nice scenario. I love that she did not try to argue. She did not try to raise her voice. I guess she really knew that yes, that statement was fucked up. Even if she did not
Yeah.
feel it, at least she must have seen it on social media where a lot of people were coming for her, being
Hmm.
like, mm-mm, you shouldn't have done that. How did you see her? Like, how did you feel about her? The way she responded to that, question.
Well, um, I was happy that she took, ownership of everything and knew that, it was just wrong. I mean, how you get them is how you lose them. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? And wishing
mm,
somebody bad, trying to be all in their marriage, because it could be the small things that could break up a
yeah,
marriage. It doesn't have to
exactly.
be
Sure.
anything big. It could
Mm-hmm.
just be the last straw. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm,
I'm glad that she apologized, because it made her look like an adult.
mm, mm, yeah. Now, this is the part that it started getting interested. When it got to the Drew and Porsha, Drew got questioned about the Dennis situation. And she kind of being like, you know what? I'm not dating this guy. I never planned on exchanging anything with this guy. What was between me and Dennis was business, and Portia was aware of it. So she just decided to use me and Dennis or use the situation as a storyline, which we saw play out in this season where Dennis was Portia's literal storyline.
Right.
Um, so I loved that they discussed about it, and I loved that Drew checked Portia. Because I
Hmm.
myself was like, why would Portia be concentrated on what Drew is doing with Dennis? You've been divorced from Dennis for me for years now. You've
Exactly.
had another kid. You've had another kid with another man. So why
Hmm.
should you care whether Drew or Dennis, even if Drew or Dennis are hanging out together, kissing up together, it's none of your business.
True.
It is his life, his choices. It is Drew's life, her choices,
True.
right? So I
Hmm.
love that Drew checked her, and and you see why sometimes I don't be liking Portia, because Drew was like, okay, show me the text message, because I saw Ralph told me what he saw in the text message. What you interpreted is different from what Ralph told me. Now show me the text message. All of a sudden, the text messages is no
She
longer
can
available.
have them. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was pretty comical.
I was like, oh my God. Where did the text messages go to? I really want to see the full because sometimes we read one line of a text message and we miscommunicate what is meant.
Right.
Sometimes you have to read a whole full conversation of people to understand what
Hmm.
was said.
Very
You
true.
could read one line and misinterpret every single thing.
Hmm.
That's what I feel. So it could be that that one line was misleading, and if you read the full context of that message, you will then fully understand that, okay, see what is going on.
Hmm.
That's what I felt, and I feel like that was why she didn't present the text message. That was why miraculously the message got disappeared. How did you feel about when Drew checked her about the message disappearing?
Well, I mean, I knew that Portia wasn't coming with all her receipts because normally she's the girl about receipts. She's a girl who will drag you on the stage. You know what I'm saying? But I just kind of felt like, okay, she's not trying to do that all this season. I was
Mm,
hoping that she wasn't, you know, but I
yeah.
just felt like, maybe she's tired of all the pettiness, you
Mm,
know?
yeah. Well, I also like the way that Drew stood on her toes and was like, when they asked her about the Breakfast Club interview where she said Porsha was a disappointment for this episode, for this season.
Oh
And
yeah.
Andy was like, "Do you still stand on it?" She said, "Oh yeah, I still do." Yeah. When she said, I was like, "Yeah, Drew, tell her that she was a disappointment. Portia was a big disappointment for coming back to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Very, very big disappointment.
Yeah. She was. I expected a little bit more out of her, you know? I mean,
She was a big flop.
yeah, I mean, I knew we weren't really going to be able to hear the details of what went wrong in her marriage or anything, but, I just thought she would have brought more life to, the housewives,
Mm,
instead of the dentist thing, because that went on way too long.
yeah, way. I
Then
think
the
that thing went on
Shamea
for like
thing,
seven,
and
eight
then the Shamea
episodes.
thing.
Man, she was the biggest flop, and I'm disappointed in her. She could have just sat down at home
Yeah,
than
true
than
that.
come back for this rubbish.
True that.
Yeah. So I was glad. I was like, when Drew was doing it, talking, I was like, yeah, I'm clapping for you, babes. You did a good job. Because I felt like Portia thought that if they said it like that, Drew was going to stand down. But Drew was like, yeah, I'm on my 10 toes and I'm saying, yeah, you are a flop. And you're a flop. And there's nothing you can do about it. That was the face she was giving Portia. There is nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
No. Now, I said earlier on in the episode when we were talking, I said we're going to talk about the fact why felt like Brit was supposed to be there. And at this point, I think we should talk about it because we had a moment where Kellie was asked about the friendship break between her and Brit and what happened between them. And at this moment, I felt like I needed Kellie to be there to stand up for herself.
Right.
Because right now, everybody is like, okay, sometimes when people are close to you face to face, there are some lies you will not be able to tell.
Hmm.
Because you'll be looking like, if I tell these lies, it would be dangerous to say it. Right. And that aside, I felt like Brit was supposed to be there. Now to Kellie. Kellie is a bad friend. I will say it over and I will say it over again. Kellie is a bad friend. Look at the way she said what she said during that reunion. Did you notice that the ladies were looking at her and being like, is this lady being for real? You said she came to you as your friend and was like, oh, because of the situation with Kenya and whatnot, I'm not able to get a stylist, I'm not able to get a makeup artist or something. And you said, okay, as a friend, okay, I can give you my own glam squad. And they asked her, the moment when they were like, and she was not like, oh, it was not getting too much, and it felt like as if she wanted to take over my life. The ladies were looking at Kellie like, is this one all right? And I
Yeah.
love the way Andy did ask her because if you look at the way she's talking, it will look as if she was the one paying every time. And I love the way Andy asked her, does she pay when she calls them over? She said, yes, she pays. Like, so what is in my mind listening to Kellie? I was like, well, then what is your complaint?
Yeah. Basically, she was almost admitting that she could possibly be a leech or something. Like, but if she's paying for her services, then that has nothing to do with you.
Like, I was so disappointed. She was like, she was wanting to take over my life. I'm like, no, it was not giving that. It was giving that you were jealous about her. Probably your glam squad, when they do a glam on braids, it comes out more beautiful than yours.
It's a
So you felt
possibility.
jealous.
Hmm.
But to
Yeah.
say you felt like she was taking over your life, that was why You decided to pull the plug. Baby girl, tell me something else because I'm not buying.
Yeah, she just doesn't seem like she's a good friend at this point. You know, like she never really was. You know.
Yeah, she's a very, very bad friend. Like, man, stay clear from me. May I not see this kind of friend. May I not meet this kind of friends. Man, that a friend, do you know the worst kind of friend you should have? A friend that is jealous.
Oh yeah,
Hmm. A
been
friend that
there.
gets jealous of you is the worst friend you can have.
Yeah, been there.
When they see you more beautiful than them, or you wear a more fancy clothes than them, or you. No, a
You know,
friend that is, yeah.
sometimes it doesn't even have to be about the fancy clothes or your looks. It could just be your aura or how people respond to you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Where people are just naturally attracted to you. It's not what you're wearing, it's not the scent of your perfume. It's how you treat people, how you carry yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because you could be the
mm,
brokest person and have the most class. You can be the trashiest person and be glittered in diamonds and gold.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So sometimes it's just how other people respond to you, you know, or how people notice you when you walk in the room. You could be tattered up with
Mm-hmm.
old clothes, you know, but if you have an aura of love, you know what I'm saying,
Mm,
and fairness, you know, and truth, some people hate that. You know, so
yeah.
it could be a mix up of things, the of how what's her name? Oh, jeez. Um, what is this girl's name? How Kelly,
Angela.
Kelly,
Okay, Helen.
yeah, how Kelly doesn't care for her so-called friend, you know, because they were thick
Mm,
as thieves at first,
mm-hmm.
you know, which I don't get, but you know, with friends like that, who needs an enemy?
I'm telling you, with friends like Kelly, you don't need an enemy in your life.
No, you don't.
You do not need an enemy in your life. And this is the part that I felt like Brit was there for her to stand up for herself and speak her truth. Because now it's only one truth we've heard.
Right.
We need to hear the whole truth.
Hmm.
We need to hear the whole truth. Um, did you also see that part where they were talking about the Phaedra stuff?
Yeah, I did see that.
And Angela brought out something. I was like, "Oh, is this not your? Who is this?" Says my brother. Who is this?
Mm.
I'm like, that was not concrete evidence, in my own opinion. That wasn't a concrete evidence.
That you're talking about what Angela brought up
Yeah, brought
Phaedra,
the
Phaedra's
yeah, she brought
brother.
up the file.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could it be a coincidence? But then again, see, we know how sometimes Phaedra rolls. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I would hate to think that, you know, Phaedra's up to her same old tricks,
Mm,
you know. But who knows? I mean, because we seen what Phaedra did in the past,
yeah. Yeah. For that part, yeah.
you
She
know.
has lost a
So
little bit of trust. Yeah.
yeah, you know. So I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I would hope she learned her lesson.
Yeah, what you said is true. Although I do not put it past Phaedra to do what she's being accused for, but I also do not think that Angela brought a very, very convincing and concrete evidence.
No, it
I,
wasn't
I,
concrete enough. Because they live
yeah.
in a small town, three high schools, or she said two high schools and three junior high schools. You know, everybody's gonna basically know everybody.
Mm, yeah,
It's not like it's a big wide district. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, exactly, exactly. But I want to see how this is gonna play out. Now, before we head out, um, did you see keep that part where Kelly was talking about the alliance stuff, where they were talking about the alliance stuff? I think Porsha did mention it, that Brie told her that Shamea, Kelly, and Brit came together to form an alliance.
Yeah, I
And
heard that.
did you see the way Kelly first kind of a little bit deny it? It shows me that she's a liar.
Yeah,
She
I
kind of
did see
she
that.
wanted to deny it until Shamea was like, "Yes, we did have that."
Huh. Yeah, I noticed that. And I was like, okay, what's up with that? Like, did you or did you not? you know?
Because I was like, that alone answered my question about Kelly, that she can lie to get whatever she wants, because she was prepared to deny it until Shamea was like, "Oh yes, we did have an alliance.
Right.
We did
And,
we did
and then
have
she
an
said
alliance."
Portia was a part of it, and Portia looked like she didn't know what the hell.
Yeah,
Like,
and
what?
that part was where it switched me off from Shamea too. That part switched me off from Shamea too, because I was like, I don't understand. How can you be in an alliance and not know you are in an alliance?
Exactly. That
Right.
was crazy. That was
How
totally
can you be
crazy.
in an alliance and not know you're in an alliance? Because Portia too was surprised. Like, I wasn't aware.
Yeah,
I
and
wasn't
I
aware
agree.
that I was in an alliance.
Yeah, I agree with Portia. Alliances, I've seen it hurt, you know, as far as what do you call it?
Shamia?
Well, no, alliances as far as it goes with reality TV shows. It doesn't never
Yeah.
really go well,
Yeah, it doesn't.
you
It
know.
doesn't.
So I was just saying that just to say I agree with Portia when it comes to that.
Mm, yeah. But looking at this first part of the reunion, who would you still want to see in the next season of?
Definitely Angela.
Yeah.
You know, let's see. I'm good with Cynthia. You know what I'm saying? Um, Portia, if she can get her shit right, you know, and I just think they need some married women on there. For God's sakes, you know,
Exactly. It's called
jeez,
Real Housewives.
yeah, or they need to figure out what show they're gonna do next.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of redundant looking at this, and you only got one couple that's married, or maybe two.
Yeah.
And
This
then
is the
you got
first time.
yeah,
Like, man.
yeah, but then you got the other ones. Are they jealous because you know you got a
Yeah.
husband and they don't, or like what is
Mm,
really going on? You know,
yeah. But I don't know. I literally, for me, I would not love to see Shamea again because she'll be doing so much. Um,
Okay.
Also Porsha, except if she works out something and makes a great comeback in next season. Yeah, those are the people I feel like I don't want to see anymore in the season.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have to see
Yeah,
what Bravo chooses to do.
I really hope, or entirely they should just take a full-time break and reevaluate.
Right. I think they need it at this point.
Mm-hmm. They really do need it. Wow. I think we've covered everything. Is there anything I'm forgetting to talk
Uh,
about?
no, I'm just really excited to see the next reunion.
Yeah. Well, let's just wait ahead and see how the part two is gonna be. Will it be better than this episode? Would have to wait. Thank you guys for joining us once again. Don't forget to click on the subscription button down below, guys. Subscribe, like, and comment. We'll see you guys next time. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.